Hey guys, I'm Ari Everett, a videographer. I primarily shoot with DSLR cameras, and today I'm going to show you how to balance your DSLR camera rig on top of a handheld gimbal system. Before we get the video started, I'm going to show you our end product in this video. When you pick your gimbal off the ground with your rig, you're going to have a perfectly balanced system here when I go out, back, left to right. Now you can walk around, run around with this thing. I'm going to go ahead and show a clip of me doing a rough run around my house here with a perfectly balanced camera. What I've got here is a Glidecam 2000 Pro. There's the newer version, the HT 2000. The method I'm going to teach you today is going to be a good guideline and reference for any handheld gimbal system such as this. When I first picked up the gimbal system, was really excited to get it flying, went online, and there was a lot of resources, but not a lot of good methods and succinct reference to figure out how to get going real fast on this. So this is what I'm going to try and do for you guys today. A lot of the tutorials out there were 30 minutes long, 2 parts, in a loud, noisy convention center. I'm an engineer enthusiast, so I've developed a 5-step order of operations that you can apply to any camera body and lens in the field quickly and efficiently. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you the equipment I bring into the field, then we'll go ahead and get started with the 5-step system. Essential equipment that I bring into a field each time is obviously the camera, the rig setup, and what came with my Glidecam is a nice quick release. I definitely recommend it. Being able to work as quickly and as fast as possible in the field is essential to all us videographers, so definitely recommend picking that up. Screwdriver and coin. This is to adjust the screws and such on your Glidecam. PVC pipe and a piece of wood, about 1 foot long, 5 inches wide. Also, I like to bring a mic stand. Shout out to Glidecam, ripping the user off at $80 a piece for an attachment that goes off to the light stand to carry it like this. This guy you can find anywhere. Pop off the mic stand attachment, the bottom cap to this gimbal, and voila, you've got a stand for yourself in the field. Final piece of equipment is something you guys can't see below the camera here, is a fold-out table. Nice way to get a level surface, keep all your things in one area. It is, I think, an essential piece of equipment to bring out to every shoot. Couple things to note before you get started in balancing is make sure that your camera is set up exactly how you are going to shoot with it on top of the gimbal system. By that I mean, if you have a variable LCD screen, make sure it's positioned exactly how you plan to look at it. If you have accessories on the top hot shoe, exactly how your zoom lens or lens needs to be, take the lens cap off. You need your camera exactly how you need it on top of the gimbal, because any adjustments after balancing will throw it off. Another thing I like to do is I like to reset my gimbal. The left to right, front, back, all the counterweights. I put all the weights on it and get everything back to center if it's a brand new setup. Final thing before you get started, I think it's helpful to know what the Glidecam will look like once you're operating it. I like to set it up like this. Counterweights parallel with the camera on top, and use your left or right arm out to the side where the handle is about 90 degrees from your body. Step 1, you're going to find your center of gravity. You can have your camera exactly how it's set up without the quick release on it. Grab your piece of wood, your PVC, find a level surface, place your PVC down, your wood on top of it, and then place your camera setup right on top of that, perpendicular with the PVC pipe. Now you're going to go left and right, teeter-totter until you find the center of gravity where it doesn't have much pull to the left or right. I've found that the center of gravity here in this setup is right before the focal length adjuster ring. You can take it a step further and go parallel with the PVC pipe and find your left and right balance. Not so much left and right variation here versus just being in the center. I know the camera body is a little heavy over here. However, if you've got accessory shoes holding multiple accessories, then this might be a good idea. That center of gravity reference you just found on the camera, you're going to want to line that right on top of the pole of the gimbal here. So you need to set your quick release plate, if you've got one, so that the camera will lie center of gravity right at the pole. So I'll go ahead and apply the quick release plate here, attach it, and move on to step 2. I'm going to add that I put the quick release plate all the way to the very back in this heavy setup, and then in the very center. Again, as there's no real left to right variation in center of gravity on my rig right now. Step 2, you're going to find your counterweight. Now I start with my pole all the way out and as many weights on here as possible. I know this is a heavy setup, so I know that it's going to require a lot of counterweight. And how we figure out how much counterweight we need on here, we're going to get a general frame of reference before we do the micro balancing, which is the next step. Grab your gimbal and place it in front of you. Point it a 90-degree angle from yourself. Now lift it up so the pole is parallel with the ground. You're going to drop this, and that's generally a slow, nice counterweight. What we're trying to do here is find the counterweight that exactly counterweights this weight up here. We'll generally go for a 1 to 3 second drop. 1 Mississippi. Okay. So I know that my counterweight is okay. You'll find that if you have a lighter setup, let's say a lighter 50 mil on here, the weight down here is going to be a lot compared to what's here, and you won't even get a 1 second drop. So what you'll need to do is take your weights off one at a time as necessary and find that nice slow wave that you get here, 1 to 3 seconds, 1 Mississippi. Once you find that counterweight, we'll move on to step 3. Step 3, you're going to micro balance the counterweight. And how we'll do that is move this pole in until we have a nice 2 to 3 second drop from 90 degrees down to the ground. One Mississippi. Okay? We'll need to bring it in a little bit more. It's a little too heavy on the camera side. 1 Mississippi. Okay, it's getting there. A little past a second. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. Alright, we're just about there. Some tutorials will tell you to go for a 3 second drop. I find it really hard to attain in microbalancing that, so I'll go from anywhere 2 to a 3 second drop. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. That's a great, nice, slow sweep. So we're ready to go on to step 4. Step 4, you're going to fine tune your front to back weight differential. How we do that is hold the gimbal in front of you like this, pick it up, and watch it drift. Now there's too much weight going to the back, so we'll need to fine tune and push forward. Just about, it's a little tilt to the back. These are tiny movements I'm doing, a couple centimeters at a time. Scratch that, a couple millimeters. Alright, and that's about perfect. Step 5, we're going to fine tune our left to right tilt. How we do that is just like in step 4, we'll hold the gimbal in front of us, pick it up, and find where it's drifting to. I've got a little bit of left drift, so I'm going to fine tune it and bring it back to the right. Okay, went ahead and went to the right again. Let me bring it back. Once again, these are tiny movements I'm doing. I'm literally tapping it left and right here. Okay, and that's about perfect. We're ready to fly our Glidecam. So there you have it, my 5-step system on balancing your DSLR on top of a handheld gimbal system. A couple final notes for you guys are that these systems are not perfect, so you will be finding yourself having to balance a couple times throughout the shoot, even if it's the same setup. Number 2 is be patient. Once again, I'm moving these probably less than a millimeter, sometimes knocking it left and right, barely opening the adjusting screws and then locking it back up, then having to redo it. Have patience. I've gotten it down with this method to balance a brand new rig in about 5 minutes, so I hope that you guys can find the same. In the next video, I'll be showing you technique on how to fly this once you've balanced it with my system. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be at you with the next video. Thanks.